Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another edition of Hong Kong House of Cards. In this scene, we find the current scene of justice, Roger Crispin, having a tea and looking rather pensive over some of his more recent events. Um, we see him currently in the lounge drinking tea, and haphazardly going over a notebook. And here's where we can start our scene.
Anyone mind if I go first?
No, go for it.
All right. Oh wow, someone's got and the whole of the brave. Okay, sorry that feedback. Okay, anyways. Oh, King, you're the one feedbacking. Could you mute for a
Am I?
second? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Osco walks into the museum. She doesn't have anything to give to the attendants at the door. She is currently wearing a beat up AC/DC t-shirt with a couple of holes in it. She's got a pair of hip hugger jeans on and fashionable yet practical shoes on her feet. The red hair clips are ever present in her hair, and she does, in fact, have one eye missing, which is not present in the picture. I'm sorry. She slides her card through the card reader, gets in the elevator, comes upstairs, and walks into the lounge. With that, I will go silent.
Um, so from from my view, it would be Michael next in order in the hangout if you wanted to do it that way.
This is a museum scene, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Shoshiro Hikaru is milling about the museum, gandering at the exhibits. Um, he's wearing a hooded jacket, and he's got some headphones in, and he keeps looking at his phone and looking at the exhibits kind of alternately. Um, and he's just kind of wandering around looking at things.
Um, Out of character, is has has your character been introduced already? Does he know about the lounge and all the other places that the special people get to go to?
This character has been in the VIP lounge twice, but does not have a key card and is currently just examining the exhibits in the museum itself.
Okay. Okay. That would mean it would be and I'm sorry if I'm saying this wrong. Um, can't quite make out the name clearly enough. Un Ungeria River Ripper. It'd be your turn next. Okay. He may be AFK at the moment. Um, um, okay, King, it's your turn.
Who's entering?
Yeah, it's it's your turn, my man.
Well, right now I got the wrong picture up. I apologize. I kind of can't change it. But Tank is actually gonna enter. He's real beat up shirt, his gray jacket, and he fiddled around his pocket for a few seconds, pulled out some D20s, put them back in, reached in another pocket, walks into the museum. Um, he will grab into another pocket and pull out some more dice and a key card and takes his hat off, holds it to his side, and swipe the key card and await the elevator arrival. Once it arrives, I'll be heading up. And I'll go quiet until that goes up.
It's a pretty skinny elevator. Just to incorporate um Shozero, one of the front desk attendants will come up to you and very discreetly ask, please excuse me, sir. Would you like to go up to the lounge this evening?
Um, Perhaps after I have finished viewing these lovely trinkets.
As you wish. Here, please enjoy your stay.
Thank you very much. I will seek you out later when I am ready.
Of course, sir. And please don't hesitate to ask if there's anything we can do.
I thank you.
Mm, You will very very excuse which means this lounge. If me a second, I'm going to make sure that that's not coming from my computer. That sound wasn't from me, was it?
No, it was not. I think that King mentioned that he was on his phone, and that sounded distinctly like the vibration of a phone when one is pressing buttons.
Okay. Uh, Very nice to have that cleared up.
I have temporarily muted him until he returns.
Okay. Um, Thank you very much. After a few moments of looking at the notebook, Roger Crispin will raise his head and look at the very beautiful young lady sitting across from him at another table, perhaps, and wishing to be polite but not intrusive, he will give her a very polite bow in the traditional way, and a very open smile to indicate that he'd be willing to chat if she'd like to. But otherwise, he goes back to drinking his tea, and he puts his notebook away. Benjamin, that was directed at you. Okay. Anyone's welcome to say anything at this point.
Shoshiro will wander around and see if they have any exhibits on pre-Christian religions of the local area.
Oh, let's do a fate die. I'm sure that they would, but let's do a fate die. They do, although it's not quite complete yet. Hence the two pluses and the minus.
He will go and check that out and look at everything in that exhibit, and then hunt down the gentleman who spoke to him earlier about the lounge.
Said gentleman is just finishing up with another gift to the museum.
Shoshiro will politely wait until he is finished.
And he does, and the gentleman will notice him and offer him a polite bow and sort of indicate toward the elevator.
Shoshiro will wander toward the elevator then, following his lead.
And the gentleman will assist him with the elevator.
Lovely.
And just before you go, he'll ask, is there anything further I could do for you, sir, at this time?
No, I believe that will be all. Thank you.
And he will offer you a polite bow and say, please have a good evening.
Shoshiro will return the bow and get on the elevator.
And it's a very nice elevator, very clean, very
I am muted.
very modern, in fact. And I do believe we have a king.
Yes, you were muted because we could hear the buttons on your phone.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, so it's okay about
So the elevator will go up and you'll both be in the lounge. And just so that Benjamin is, okay. Just so I know, Benjamin, did you hear the part that I added towards your character?
What's up?
I was just wondering if you had heard what Rodger had done in regard to your character.
Refresh me.
Okay. Rodger, having finished with his notebook, he put the notebook away, looked towards your character, and offered a polite bow in the traditional way,
Ah,
and
okay.
a very gentle smile to indicate that he was open to speaking but was not trying to force anything.
All right. Thank you. Oscar will give him a small. Oh my god. King, seriously.
He's on his phone. It may be difficult for him to do so. There we go.
Thank you very much. I know it can be a pain, and I'm very sorry for that, but thank you very much. Anyways, Oscar gives him a wave and Guten Tag before she heads to the bar. And remembering what happened last time she got a drink here, selects a soda.
Lol, 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 out of character, lol. Lol's on floor laughing. Yeah. Anyway,
Let's put it this way: she got a girlfriend out of it.
ooh, that was fun.
Yeah, Mox did not expect that.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, I'm going on silent.
So, anyone else can chime in at this point?
Shoshiro at this point will be exiting slowly through the open doors of the elevator and into the lounge. And he will wander through very carefully looking to see who all is here. He will glance at the random game console number 7 that is plugged in the corner to see if there's anyone he knows playing at it. There does not appear to be. And so he will make his way to the bar.
And the random bartender will ask, "What can I get you?"
What would you suggest?
Well, let me see, sir. Are you feeling more traditional this evening or more adventurous?
Let us begin with traditional.
Very good, sir. Could I interest you in some Sapporo sake this evening?
Please.
And he will go to the back and begin to prepare some sake, just to see in general how the bartender does this evening, just for the lols. Okay, he makes fairly good drinks this evening with 3 successes. So he will bring you a very nice black lacquer sake set, and the interior of the cups and bottle is red.
Very
And
nice.
it has a sort it has the image of a nightingale on it in white.
Very lovely. Thank you.
You are very welcome, sir. And is there anything I could get the young lady and the other gentleman this evening?
9, thank you. I'll stick with the soda.
Very good, madam. Could I interest you in some snacks?
Yes, that would be thoughtful, thank you.
Did you have a preference? and he points to the menu.
Asuka will look over the menu and then point to whatever item she thinks looks good.
Okay, and just to sort of carry over, the snacks are very well prepared this evening. They taste very well done.
Good evening. I do not believe we have met before.
Out of character, who is
It, I'm assuming that there are not a lot of people in here, and that that Asuka is near the bar, judging from previous comments, both by Benjamin and yourself.
Yeah,
So I would be
she is at the bar.
while Shoshiro would not look to her when he spoke to her, he would be speaking to her.
so
Ah, guten Tag.
Konbanwa.
I am Oscar Langley, one of the local scientists.
Science. Very impressive. What kind of science do you do?
I specialize in robotics.
Very interesting. That must be rather difficult.
It's challenging but very rewarding work.
You will not.
I've been working with Mr. Dimitri, if you've met him.
I have indeed. I have indeed. Very interesting fellow, Mr. Dimitri.
Yeah, if you've seen the suit he tends to wear, I'm the one who designed and built it.
He did seem rather proud of that.
He designs the outer coating. It's one of a kind.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
from the spot where Rodger is sitting, he he adds, if you will permit me, my lady, I must commend you on your creativity of design. It's a very well made suit.
Ah, danke. It's always nice to be appreciated.
If you would please ex- excuse my interjection, I do not know if I've had the honor of making your acquaintances this evening. Um, please permit me to introduce myself. My name is Rodger Crispin. I I am the current seat of justice for the higher Arcana Council. It's an honor to make your acquaintances.
Ah, it's very much an honor to meet you as well, sir.
It is a great pleasure.
Sir, if something should ever arise and you should find yourselves in need of legal counsel, and he'll offer 2 cards from his breast pocket. I'm also an attorney at law with a with an additional degree in international law. should my services ever be needed, I'm honored to aid the supernatural community.
Most impressive. Most impressive.
And he will offer the cards with a bow, his hands extended.
Shoshiro will take a card and slip it into his pocket, and in the same motion will draw one out of his own and return it to Mr. Crispin's hand.
And
Asuka will do an identical motion.
he will examine the cards and read them.
Shoshiro says, Shoshiro Hikaru, and it gives a cell phone number, and at the very bottom of the card it says Information Specialist.
Oh. Please forgive me. Out of character, I don't actually have Japanese on my sheet, but I'm hoping to work towards earning it with XP expenditure. So Roger's going to say, I do apologize if my translation uh, is perhaps slightly off, but don't worry, gato gozaimasu.
You're very welcome.
And are are you new to the city of Hong Kong, sir?
I am. I have only arrived just this week.
Oh, and you, excuse me, Fraulein Langley, I believe. How about yourself, miss?
I've been here for several months. I've also been somewhat on a busy schedule thanks to certain events, but I do try to get out when I can.
I see. Well, I'm very, I feel very happy that the fates have allowed me to meet the both of you. Would you mind if I joined your conversation?
Please, at your leisure.
Thank you. And Roger will politely take the other seat where the other two are seated. Please continue.
To meeting good new friends. Kanpai! And then she takes a drink of her soda.
Kanpai!
And by the way, she speaks Japanese without an accent. Without a noticeable German accent, that is.
Whoa!
Fair point. So, other than the exciting field of robotics, what do you do?
Well, at the present, I'm helping invent new things to help people in the city. And protect people from certain things that are going on.
Very good pursuit.
A very noble one at that.
We all have our demons. Some of them are more close at hand than others, and far more real.
That is a very apt assessment. As a matter of fact, things in Hong Kong have been very, shall we say, exciting of late.
Oh yes, that sarcophagus business. That was very exciting.
Yeah.
Sarcophagus.
Just retrieval of some artifacts from people who did not want to share, and were courting some very dangerous information.
Quite. Would you happen to know how that's been going of late?
As far as I know, the sarcophagi have been dropped off at the requested owner, and the fallout hasn't quite hit yet completely. We're hoping it won't hit at all.
From my observation, things were handled rather promptly, so we may have forestalled any great tumult, I hope.
Well, as far as I know, the only thing that's angered is the Salat.
Well, yeah, I don't know too much about that particular organization. I know from the little bit I've heard, it seems like they're always angry about something. Though that's mostly based on hearsay rather than actual knowledge.
Did they ever find the individual who made a mess in here the other night?
I would be very eager to hear that. I was personally invested in the happenings. I've yet to hear any solid um, feedback yet.
If I could ask, what happened here?
It is my understanding that a gentleman came in here a few nights ago, caused a scene, did not wish to leave, and then turned into a puddle of blood before escaping.
That is an adequate description. Yes, the gentleman was being rather abhorrent to one of our upstanding members of the supernatural community, wherein myself and other members of their house felt it was appropriate to take certain actions. Unfortunately, I have not heard a progress report regarding that as of yet.
Oh, that's worrisome. Another one of them.
There are many of them.
Yeah, we had power cut off at our last facility when one of them was somewhat upset that we had taken the sarcophagi.
Interesting.
He was kind enough to carve a message into the side of our building.
Carve a message.
Yeah, using, from what I understand, a bone blade.
Hmm.
May I ask what this message was?
As I recall, before we painted it over and filled in the cracks, it was something akin to "Don't mess with the Sabbats, or we'll come back for you." I had to replace over 5 meters of electrical cables that night.
That
Ripped clean out.
Could these incidences be connected outside of their commonality with this organization?
There, there may be a distinct possibility. Um, and with the timing of the events, um, it it is plausible. Though at this juncture, I'm not sure if we have enough evidence to act on that. But it is certainly an avenue that is worth investigation.
I have also been told that when the gentleman came in and made the scene here before disappearing in a pool of blood, that he claimed one of the number of the... I wasn't really told who, but that he claimed one as his own and demanded that individual be released to him.
Oh, you're aware of that. I I apologize for not being um, completely open on that, as I wanted to preserve the privacy of the individual of the individual involved. It was
Yes, that's what I was told the other night as well when I asked.
uh, it was a very ugly scene. For for the record, for as long as I am a seated judge, and as long as I remain the seat of justice, there will be no slavery, at least not sanctioned by me.
Well, that is very good to hear. Although you may be hard pressed to convince the Sabbat or the technocracy of that.
Oh, suffice it to say that the Sabbath, was it, and the technocracy, with exception to our shall we say allies, um, such as yourself and Dimitri, um, yourselves being the exception, I mean, um, they are not welcome here, and they are considered enemies to the supernatural.
Yeah, that's part of why we left their employ.
Would Would you mind if I asked you a question?
Go ahead.
I, other than yourselves, I've not met a member of the technocracy. Perhaps that's a good thing. But could you tell me a little bit about them? I'd like to understand them a bit more, and not just uh, from a dogmatic standpoint or an idealistic standpoint. What are they? Why do they hate magic so much?
Well, that's actually a very complicated story. The Union used to be mages, much like the rest, even part of the traditions. But they valued order and reason. They wanted to know the universe, make it safe for mankind. They wanted to push back the monsters of the night, make a bubble of consensus that was safe. They could not be invaded by the monsters and things that go bump in the night so easily. Of course, this also meant cataloging and understanding those things that they called reality deviants that were not completely human or only took human form. Very scientific in its approach, but also very ruthless and merciless. which was necessary at the time, but not as much nowadays, now that the general population is on their side. You see, while the tradition mages would hoard knowledge and advancements, only trickling them down to the general populace as they saw fit, the Technocratic Union would produce amazing wonders and then tries their best to make it consensus viable, to pass their discoveries on to the masses. This was quite noble at first, as you can imagine. Over time, of course, the lust for power took over and the desire for order became much stronger. As far as I know, there is no definite time when we stopped being the good guys and became the tyrants that they are now. I know it was long before the virtual adepts left, and I believe even one of the other orders was once part of us. Of course, I shouldn't say us anymore since I'm no longer part of the Union. But it is not something that I have changed yet. I may not be in their employ, but I am still of that dynamic.
It is very difficult to get used to change.
Yeah, and there are dangers out there that if the Union had not taken many of the steps that they had would be even worse today. H.P. Lovecraft did write some things that were true.
At this point, Roger would like, I would like to roll a perception empathy, just, being the seat of justice. I do have a habit of feeling a need to weigh the things that people say, as a character and as an aspect. So it's sort of a roundabout for the whole story kind of a thing, and he's trying to come to understand her a bit more, I guess. So I've got one for sure.
Okay.
So do I sense any sort of deceit from her?
No, she's being as honest as she can. She has no reason to lie.
Okay.
And she doesn't know all the things that the technocracy has done, but she knows that they started off with noble purposes.
Fair enough.
And she's also currently disgusted at the direction they've been going.
For what it's worth, I appreciate the courage you both showed in coming to us. It's it's a very hard thing to deal with when something you trusted and something you once believed in lets you down. I'm grateful that you're on our side.
Asuka inclines her head quietly.
Roger will do the same. This this calls to mind a very interesting debate I was having with myself a night or so ago after the incident um, of which we spoke. Um, I have to wonder if these organizations, the Sabbat, the technocracy, and some such, I wonder if all of these organizations make or made up the I guess the guiding influences throughout history that led humanity through things like, for example, the the Crusades, or the Salem witch trials, or in insert insert any significant um, point in history. I do have to wonder if these organizations have been sort of at war with us since ancient times.
In my experience, human beings need no particular prompting to turn into monsters.
While I agree with you, and there is darkness in humanity, there is also beauty, and there is also love, and there is also the innate desire to create. And I would say that these primal elements that inevitably make up the whole illustrate the if you'll pardon my usage of something from my own belief system. It demonstrates the ebb and flow of the Tao.
Well, it is said that black and white do arise together and cannot be separated one from the other.
So it is said, yes.
It sometimes feels so silly that all of this strife is from something as simple as an argument over how best to guide humanity into the future and protect them.
Everyone believes that their own path is the proper one, but every path is driven by the fears of those who tread it.
I I do wonder if perhaps, well, you can see the diversity within the supernatural community itself. Um, every house has its own views and beliefs and things that guide them. And I have to wonder, suppose they're all right, and each of these is only a small piece to the greater puzzle.
It could very well be that you are correct. The technocracy is not completely correct in all regards. I don't think anyone really is.
Other than perhaps the gods, and again I apologize. Um, it is my paradigm after all. But other than perhaps the gods, um, just as no one can be wholly evil or wholly good. I don't necessarily think that others can be wholly wrong or right either. It's, it's merely a case of how you go about achieving your ideals. For example, the savant. Um, um, from what little I understand, they care nothing for the living. They act um, they act as a butcher to a piece of cattle. Um, the the idea in and of itself does make some sense in a way, but if you apply that to the hundreds and millions of different people, if you apply that to the innumerable cultures and whatnot that exist in this world and in the other realms outside of this one, um, this this world would be very bleak, and there would eventually be nothing left.
Hmm.
Just as um, just as all things must inevitably um, re-emerge into the cycle, life and experience is equally important. One shouldn't focus on just one element of existence. I think. I apologize if I blather, but I've become very passionate over my time here and getting to know my new state of being, such as it is.
Very interesting.
May I ask, um, Hikaru-san, uh, um, of which house are you?
Swords.
Ah, how are you finding things so far?
Very unusual.
How so?
The odd conglomerations of various Shen is bewildering. It's not uncommon necessarily, but strange.
Please forgive me, as there are certain things I'm still learning. When you say Shen, do you mean to say spirits? Or
The abnormal denizens of this city.
ah, so the you mean the supernatural community at large?
Yes.
How how are things done traditionally in Japan?
I have been much too busy in my young life to find out, but it is my understanding that diplomatic relations are kept well. Anything further is atypical.
Ah. So something such as the Tarot Council would be considered unique.
One might say highly irregular, but yes.
As far as I've seen from most of the other cities in the world, this Terror Council would last for about 5 minutes before everyone started trying to kill each other.
At least people here seem to have the good sense to wait until a plausible excuse arises.
Well, well. If you wouldn't mind my sharing a personal ambition with you. It's funny you should say that. Because the truth is, eventually when we deal with the threats that we're currently facing, the truth is there's always something bleaker and something scarier at the other end. And there's enough um, there's enough maliciousness in the world at large to where I think it might be a good idea uh, to see if we can make this last. I think we have a great thing here in Hong Kong, and I think especially if we could make it work, um, um, it it could be an example to the world. I think.
If it is so beneficial, why is it kept so secret?
I'm
Out of character, I'll be right back.
okay. Um, Please understand that I am not a master of my tradition. I have not been long in the current state that in which I find myself. So my answer is at best an honest one, if not based in hard facts and long experience. If this is all right with you, I would be happy to offer an answer. It might not be the answer, but it is a answer.
I await this explanation.
The reason that we must keep this as secret as it uh, is sort of a multi-pronged approach. If if our enemies saw that we were being open, and if we acted in public to a very great degree, um, it would cause alarm, and our enemies would use this as a means of attacking us. Because just as we have our own spheres of influence and understanding, so do they. However, they, or at least in some cases, I'm guessing, may, for example, have allies in the very chambers of the Chinese government, and they themselves could bring to bear the weight of the Chinese government, for example. a second prong is the fact that many of us, as I understand it, have families and friends and people that we need to protect that are not either able or ready to see the other side of the world. See see past what the world puts in front of us. And because of that, if we acted out loud and over garishly, these people, these innocent people, could be harmed, and those of us that are not, as say, Starboard, may act with haste and anger, as is just in a certain case, but would lead to even more trouble. Thirdly, as our esteemed friend, and he nods in the direction of excuse me, and he nods in the direction of Asuka, as she goes to the bar for another drink, just to explain why she's not actually talking. Um, at at present, our our collective enemies, especially the technocracy, have the court of public opinion on their side. As as long as the sleepers, the mundane people, um, do not believe in the supernatural, our hands, our claws, our skills are bound, because if we use them in incorrectly, we could do more harm than good.
Allow me to rephrase my query. Uh, I know why we hide ourselves from those who are not among us. I mean to question the validity of keeping the existence of the Accords themselves secret.
Ah, as to that, and again, uh, as to that, this is a very experimental and delicate state in which we of Hong Kong find ourselves. And it is not necessarily known as to whether others in the supernatural communities of other regions would understand this. In fact, the more like ideologies may misinterpret what we're trying to achieve here as some form of treason.
Hmm.
And as a whole, as an international whole, if if for any reason we are made to sever ties with those we are connected to elsewhere, we are even more vulnerable than when we started. We need to maintain the connections, even if the rest of the world is not ready to lead by Hong Kong's examples.
Hmm. Understandable.
And he'll smile at you, and offer a gentle, such as the explanation that I can provide with the amount of knowledge that I have.
Thank you very much. I do have some other business to attend to, and it is getting rather late. I thank you for your company, your conversation, and your hospitality.
Yourself as well. I look forward to speaking with you in the future. And as you stand, Rodger will stand with you and offer a polite bow in the Japanese style.
Shoshiro will bow. He will return the bow, and before he leaves, he will slide a business card over to the area where Asuka was sitting, and just wander back out of the VIP lounge via the elevator and out of the museum.
Out of character, I'm not sure if Benjamin is still available or not.
I'm certain that he will return shortly, but out of character, I need to leave, so I will catch you guys later.
All right. So I got back just in time to say goodbye. Then
I left your character a business card.
he would have gotten one back from Asuka, and it does actually have kanji on it.
Oh, cool. All right, I will see you guys later. Have fun.
Boy.
See ya. I regret that I must also take my leave, I feel, but I do hope that perhaps we might have tea again in the future. It's been a great pleasure getting to know you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure meeting new faces like yourself as well. I'll see you next time, yeah?
Very good. Please, may I offer you a taxi?
No, thank you. I have my own ways of getting back home. A taxi might be too public.
Very good. Please have a safe evening.
Thank you. You as well.
And with that, our three new acquaintances will head off into the Hong Kong night. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we close the curtain on this episode of Hong Kong House of Cards. Thank you very much, and good night.